I want to start with a simple truth that changed my entire life. There was a time when I had no direction, no money, and no clear path forward. I was drifting. And the strange thing was, I wasn't alone. Millions of people are working hard every day, yet they feel stuck. They read books, watch motivational videos, set goals, and still something invisible keeps holding them back. What I eventually discovered changed everything for me. Success is not controlled by what you do occasionally. It is controlled by what your subconscious mind believes is possible for you. Your subconscious mind is like the operating system of your life. It quietly controls your habits, your confidence, your decisions, and ultimately the results you create. And if that internal program is filled with doubt, fear, and limitation, then no matter how hard you try on the outside, you will keep returning to the same level of results. But here's the good news. Your subconscious mind can be reprogrammed. And in the next few hours together, I'm going to walk you through how you can begin installing a completely new internal blueprint for success. But before we go further, I want to ask you something. Do you truly believe you are capable of massive success? Or is there a small voice in your mind that still whispers doubt? Be honest with yourself. And if you're watching this right now, I'd like you to write one word in the comments below: success. That single word is a declaration, a commitment, a signal to your own mind that you are ready to change the way you think about your future. Now let me explain something extremely important. Your subconscious mind does not argue with you. It simply accepts the instructions you repeatedly give it. If you constantly think, I'm not good enough, I'm not lucky, I'm not talented, I'm not successful, your subconscious mind quietly accepts that as truth. And then it organizes your behavior, your energy, and your focus to make that belief real. But the opposite is also true. When you deliberately feed your subconscious mind powerful ideas of confidence, success, discipline, and possibility, it begins to reshape the way you see yourself. And once your self-image changes, everything else begins to change with it. I learned early in my career that the most successful people in the world all share one common habit. They consciously control the information they feed into their minds. Think about that for a moment. Your mind is being programmed every single day. It's being programmed by conversations, by news, by social media, by the people around you, by the things you watch, and by the words you say to yourself. If you are not deliberately programming your mind for success, then something else is programming it for limitation. And most people never even realize it. Let me give you a powerful fact about the human brain. Psychologists estimate that we have roughly 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day. But what's even more interesting is that most of those thoughts are repetitions of yesterday's thoughts. In other words, the life you're living today is largely the result of the thinking patterns you've been repeating for years. And if those thinking patterns don't change, your results usually don't change either. This is why so many people feel like they're running on a treadmill. They work hard. They try new strategies. But their internal programming keeps pulling them back to the same level of income, the same level of confidence, and the same level of achievement. The breakthrough begins the moment you understand one simple principle. Your subconscious mind is programmable through repetition and emotion. Repetition installs the idea. Emotion locks it in place. That means when you repeatedly expose your mind to powerful ideas about success, confidence, discipline, and achievement, your brain begins to accept those ideas as your new identity. And identity is the most powerful force in human behavior. People always act in alignment with who they believe they are. If someone believes they are disciplined, they act with discipline. If someone believes they are confident, they act with confidence. And if someone believes they are capable of great success, they begin taking the actions that successful people take. But here's the challenge. Most people have been unconsciously programming their minds for years with messages of limitation. They grew up hearing things like, be realistic, success is for other people, don't aim too high, money is hard to earn. Those ideas settle deep into the subconscious mind. And once they settle there, they quietly shape a person's expectations for life. But I want you to hear this very clearly. Those beliefs are not facts. They are programs. And any program can be replaced with a better one. When I first began studying personal development, I became fascinated with how the mind works. I read everything I could find about psychology, success, and human potential. And one discovery stood out above all the others. Your brain is constantly reshaping itself based on what you repeatedly focus on. This concept is known today as neuroplasticity. In simple terms, your brain literally rewires itself based on your dominant thoughts. If you repeatedly think about problems, fear, and limitation, your brain strengthens those mental pathways. But if you repeatedly focus on solutions, growth, confidence, and opportunity, your brain begins strengthening an entirely different set of pathways. That means the person you become over the next 5 years will be largely determined by what you choose to feed into your mind starting today. Now think about the power of that idea. If you spend just a few focused hours deliberately feeding your mind empowering thoughts, success principles, and clear visions of your future, you begin shifting the internal programming that drives your behavior. And once your internal programming begins to change, your actions begin to change naturally. You start taking more initiative. You start seeing opportunities you never noticed before. You start making decisions with greater confidence. And most importantly, you start expecting success instead of hoping for it. Expectation is a powerful force. Human beings tend to move in the direction of their expectations. If you expect failure, you unconsciously behave in ways that create it. But when you genuinely expect success, your mind begins searching for ways to make that success real. So let me ask you another question. What do you truly expect from your future? Not what you wish for, not what you hope for, but what you genuinely expect. Because whatever answer comes to your mind right now is a direct reflection of your current subconscious programming. The good news is that expectation can be upgraded. And that's exactly what we're going to begin doing together. One of the most powerful tools for reprogramming the subconscious mind is intentional repetition of empowering ideas. When you listen to success-oriented messages repeatedly, your mind slowly begins replacing old limitations with new possibilities. At first, the ideas may feel unfamiliar. Your mind might even resist them. But with repetition, those ideas start to feel natural. And once they feel natural, they become part of your identity. That is the moment when transformation begins. I've seen this happen thousands of times with people from every background imaginable. People who once doubted themselves began building successful businesses. People who once struggled financially began creating wealth. People who once lacked confidence began speaking, leading, and influencing others. And the change did not begin on the outside. It began inside the mind, because when the subconscious mind accepts a new picture of who you are capable of becoming, it begins guiding your behavior toward that picture. It's almost like installing a new internal GPS. Your thoughts change, your choices change, habits change, and eventually your results change. Now here's something extremely important that I want you to remember as we go forward. Reprogramming your subconscious mind is not about pretending. It's about training. Just like building physical strength requires repeated exercise, building a powerful mindset requires repeated mental conditioning. Every successful person I've ever studied practices some form of daily mental conditioning. They visualize their goals. They repeat empowering affirmations. They feed their minds with positive, success-oriented information. They deliberately guard their thinking because they understand that the quality of their thinking determines the quality of their life. And this is where your next few hours can become incredibly powerful. When you spend concentrated time listening to ideas that reinforce success, discipline, confidence, and personal responsibility, your subconscious mind begins absorbing those ideas. And once those ideas begin settling into your subconscious, your behavior starts aligning with them automatically. You become more focused, more determined, more resilient. You stop seeing obstacles as permanent. You start seeing them as temporary challenges that can be solved. That single shift in perspective changes everything. Because success is not built by people who never face obstacles. Success is built by people whose minds are trained to keep moving forward despite obstacles. And that kind of mindset can absolutely be trained. In fact, you're training your mind every single day, whether you realize it or not. The question is simply this. Are you training it for success, or are you allowing it to be trained for limitation? Because once you understand how powerful your subconscious mind truly is, you stop leaving it to chance. You start taking control of the programming. And when you take control of the programming, you begin taking control of your future. When I first understood how powerful subconscious mind really is, I began asking myself a very simple question. If my mind is programmable, what exactly should I be programming into it? Because the truth is this, success is not random. It follows patterns. There are certain mental habits that almost every successful person develops over time. And once those habits move from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, success becomes far more natural. Let me share something important with you. Your subconscious mind learns primarily through emotional repetition. That means whatever ideas you repeat with feeling, conviction, and consistency eventually become part of your internal belief system. This is why negative beliefs can be so powerful. Many people have repeated limiting thoughts for years. Thoughts like, I'm not lucky, I'm bad with money, I'm not a confident person, I always fail. When those statements are repeated again and again, the subconscious mind begins accepting them as instructions. And once the subconscious accepts them, your behavior begins aligning with them automatically. You start hesitating. You avoid opportunities. You doubt your abilities. And without realizing it, you begin creating the very outcomes you fear. But here is the incredible part. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between self-imposed limitation and self-imposed empowerment. It simply follows the dominant instructions you give it. So if someone repeatedly says to themselves, I am becoming more confident every day. I am disciplined and focused. I am capable of creating success. I learn quickly and improve constantly. Over time, those ideas begin reshaping their internal identity. And once identity shifts, behavior shifts. This is why one of the most powerful tools for subconscious reprogramming is the deliberate use of affirmations. Now, I want to be very clear about something. Affirmations are not magic words. They work only when they are repeated with emotion, belief, and consistency. Think of affirmations like mental exercise. The first time you lift a weight at the gym, nothing dramatic happens. But if you repeat that exercise day after day, week after week, your muscles begin to grow stronger. Your mind works the exact same way. Every time you repeat a powerful, positive statement about yourself and your future, you are strengthening a mental pathway. And when those pathways become strong enough, they begin influencing how you think and act automatically. So let me give you an exercise that I personally used for years. Each morning and each evening, take a few minutes to repeat a small set of powerful affirmations out loud. Not silently in your head, out loud. Because the more senses you involve in the process, the deeper the message enters the subconscious mind. Here are a few examples. I like myself. I believe in my ability to succeed. I am responsible for creating a great life. I move toward my goals with confidence and discipline. When you repeat statements like these consistently, something fascinating begins to happen. At first, your mind may resist them. It may say, that's not true. That reaction is normal. It simply means your current programming is different. But if you continue repeating these statements with determination, your subconscious mind gradually begins accepting them as possible, and then as probable, and eventually as true. And once they become true inside your mind, they begin becoming true in your life. Another incredibly powerful method for reprogramming the subconscious mind is visualization. Your brain has an extraordinary characteristic. It often cannot clearly distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. That means when you clearly visualize yourself achieving your goals, feeling the emotions of success, confidence, and accomplishment, your brain begins forming neural pathways that support that reality. Elite athletes have used visualization for decades. Olympic competitors often spend hours mentally rehearsing their performances. They imagine every movement, every step, every successful outcome. By the time the real event happens, their mind already believes it is familiar territory. You can apply the exact same principle to success in your life. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your ideal future. Imagine the kind of work you are doing. Imagine the lifestyle you are creating. Imagine the confidence you feel as you move through your day. See it clearly. Feel it emotionally. Because the clearer the picture becomes in your mind, the stronger the signal you send to your subconscious. And your subconscious mind begins organizing your thoughts and actions around that image. This process may sound simple, but it is extraordinarily powerful. I have seen people completely transform their lives by practicing visualization consistently. Why? Because when you repeatedly see yourself as a successful person, your mind begins accepting that identity. And once your identity changes, your behavior naturally follows. Now let me share another important principle that many people overlook. Your subconscious mind is deeply influenced by environment. The people you spend time with, the conversations you listen to, the information you consume, all of these factors act as programming inputs. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, criticism, and pessimism, your subconscious mind absorbs those patterns. But if you intentionally expose yourself to positive ideas, growth-oriented people, and success principles, your subconscious begins absorbing those patterns instead. This is why I strongly encourage people to feed their minds with positive material every day. Books, educational videos, inspirational audio programs, conversations with people who think big. Every one of these inputs strengthens the mental programming of success. Think of your mind as a garden. If you leave a garden unattended, weeds grow automatically. But if you deliberately plant seeds of growth and nurture them consistently, you create something beautiful. Your thoughts work exactly the same way. Negative thoughts grow easily when left unchecked. But positive, constructive thinking grows when you intentionally cultivate it. Now here is something fascinating. Studies in psychology show that the brain tends to strengthen whatever mental patterns are used most often. This principle is often summarized with the phrase, neurons that fire together wire together. In simple terms, repeated thoughts become stronger mental connections. That means if you repeatedly think about your goals, your opportunities, and your ability to succeed, your brain becomes more efficient at producing those thoughts. Eventually, they become automatic. And when success-oriented thinking becomes automatic, your actions begin aligning with success automatically as well. Let me ask you something important. What thoughts are you rehearsing every day? Are they thoughts of possibility or thoughts of limitation? Because whichever set of thoughts you repeat most often is shaping the direction of your life. This is why the next few hours of focused listening can be incredibly powerful. When you immerse yourself in positive, success-oriented ideas for an extended period of time, you begin interrupting old patterns of thinking. You introduce new ideas, new beliefs, new possibilities, and your subconscious mind begins processing those ideas even after the audio ends. It continues working quietly in the background, influencing the way you interpret situations, the way you make decisions, and the way you approach opportunities. This is the beginning of real mental transformation. But there is another element that must be included if you want subconscious programming to truly take hold. And that element is action. Your subconscious mind responds powerfully when thought and action move in the same direction. When you affirm confidence, visualize success, and then take even small actions toward your goals, you send a powerful message to your mind. You demonstrate that your new identity is real. Even small actions can have a huge impact. Making a phone call, learning a new skill, taking the first step toward a goal. Each action reinforces the belief that you are a person who moves forward. And the more you reinforce that belief, the stronger it becomes. Remember this principle. Your subconscious mind always seeks consistency between your beliefs and your actions. So when you begin acting like a confident, disciplined, success-oriented person, your mind gradually accepts that identity as the truth. And once that identity becomes solid, extraordinary things begin to happen. Opportunities appear that you previously overlooked. Your energy level rises. Your focus sharpens. Your willingness to take initiative grows stronger. From the outside, it may look like luck. But what's really happening is internal alignment. Your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are finally working together instead of working against each other. This is the real power of reprogramming the subconscious mind. It turns success from a struggle into a natural direction. But there is still one more crucial element we must talk about. Because many people start this process with excitement and then slowly drift back into old patterns. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to lock in this new programming so that it becomes permanent rather than temporary. I'm also going to share a powerful mental discipline used by many of the most successful people in the world. A discipline that strengthens confidence, eliminates self-doubt, and keeps your subconscious mind focused on growth and achievement. And once you understand this final piece, you'll realize that transforming your mindset is not only possible, it is inevitable if you follow the process consistently. So take a moment right now and ask yourself a powerful question. If you truly committed to training your mind for success every single day, how much could your life change over the next year? Think about that carefully, because the answer to that question may be far bigger than you currently imagine. Now let me share the final piece that brings everything together. Because reprogramming your subconscious mind is not just about motivation. It's not just about repeating affirmations or visualizing your goals. Those tools are powerful, but the real transformation happens when you combine them with one simple discipline that the most successful people in the world practice every single day. That discipline is mental control. Your mind will constantly offer you two types of thoughts. One type pushes you forward, thoughts of growth, solutions, confidence, opportunity. The other type pulls you backward, thoughts of fear, doubt, limitation, and hesitation. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not intelligence. It's not background. It's not even talent. The difference is which thoughts they choose to entertain. Highly successful people develop the habit of immediately rejecting negative, disempowering thoughts and replacing them with constructive ones. They don't allow their minds to drift into discouragement. They deliberately redirect their thinking. And this is a skill you can train. Every time you catch yourself thinking something negative like, I can't do this, or this is too difficult, you immediately stop and replace that thought with something stronger. You might say to yourself, there must be a solution, or I can figure this out, or even every challenge is an opportunity to grow. This may sound simple, but the effect on your subconscious mind is enormous. Remember, your subconscious mind does not judge your thoughts. It simply accepts repeated instructions. So when you consistently redirect your thinking towards solutions and possibilities, you are installing a new mental program. And that program begins guiding your behavior. Let me give you a powerful principle that has helped millions of people build confidence. Your mind becomes what it thinks about most of the time. If you think about problems all day, your mind becomes a magnet for problems. If you think about opportunities, your mind becomes a magnet for opportunities. The brain is constantly scanning the environment for information that matches your dominant thoughts. That means when you train your mind to focus on progress, solutions, and goals, you begin noticing things you previously ignored. Ideas appear, connections appear, paths appear. To someone else, those opportunities may seem invisible, but to you, they become obvious because your mind has been trained to look for them. Now let me share something very important about long-term success. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Many people get excited about change for a few days. They repeat affirmations. They visualize their goals. They feel motivated. But then life becomes busy and they slowly drift back into old patterns. Real transformation happens when you commit to daily mental conditioning. Just like physical fitness requires regular exercise, mental strength requires regular training. The good news is that this training does not require hours every day. A few focus minutes in the morning and a few focus minutes before sleep can completely reshape your mindset over time. Let me suggest a simple daily structure you can follow. Each morning, begin by reminding yourself of your goals. Visualize the life you are building. Feel the excitement of progress. Then repeat a small set of affirmations that reinforce confidence and responsibility. Tell yourself, I am responsible for my life. I am capable of achieving great things. I learn, grow, and improve every day. Then throughout the day, stay aware of your thinking. If negative thoughts appear, and they will, calmly replace them with constructive ones. And before you go to sleep each night, spend a few minutes reflecting on progress. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? How did I move closer to my goals? Your subconscious mind processes thoughts very deeply before sleep. So the ideas you focus on at night often become the instructions your mind works on overnight. This simple daily habit can dramatically accelerate personal growth. Now I want to share something that may surprise you. Many of the most confident, successful individuals you admire did not begin with extraordinary confidence. They built it. They built it by training their minds repeatedly to focus on growth instead of limitation. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is something you create through action and repetition. Every time you take a step toward your goals, even a small one, your brain receives evidence that you are moving forward. And the more evidence your mind collects, the stronger your self-belief becomes. This is why action is so powerful. Action turns possibility into proof, and proof strengthens belief. Let me ask you something again. What would happen if you truly believed, without hesitation, that success was inevitable for you if you kept improving? Think about that. How differently would you behave? What opportunities would you pursue? What fears would disappear? Most people are not held back by lack of ability. They are held back by self-imposed limitations that were installed years ago. But those limitations are not permanent. Your brain is constantly adapting, constantly learning, constantly evolving. That means every positive idea you repeat, every empowering thought you focus on, every goal you visualize, every step you take is gradually reshaping your subconscious programming. And as that programming changes, your life begins to change. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly, powerfully. You start noticing that your reactions to challenges are different. You become calmer under pressure. You recover from setbacks faster. You take initiative more often. And these small changes begin creating larger and larger results. Remember something very important. Success is not one big event. Success is the accumulation of many small decisions made consistently over time. Every day you decide what thoughts to feed your mind. Every day you decide whether to move toward your goals or stay comfortable. Every day you decide what kind of person you are becoming. Those decisions shape your future. Now imagine spending the next few hours allowing your mind to absorb powerful ideas about success, discipline, focus, and personal responsibility. Think of it as installing a new internal operating system. Old doubts begin weakening. New beliefs begin strengthening. Your mental picture of yourself becomes bigger, stronger, and clearer. And once that internal picture changes, your external life begins catching up. That is the true power of the subconscious mind. It quietly drives your behavior in the direction of your dominant beliefs. So, if you, Gwade, install beliefs of growth, capability, persistence, and possibility, your mind begins guiding you toward the actions that produce success. Before we finish, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your future is not determined by your past. Your future is determined by what you choose to think, believe, and act on starting today. You have the ability to reshape your thinking. You have the ability to strengthen your confidence. You have the ability to train your mind for success. And once your mind is trained in that direction, your life begins moving in that direction as well. So if you are serious about changing your life, start today. Guard your thoughts. Feed your mind with positive ideas. Visualize your goals clearly. Take consistent action. And most importantly, keep reinforcing the belief that you are capable of achieving far more than you have ever imagined. Because the moment your subconscious mind truly accepts that belief, your journey towards success accelerates in ways that will surprise even you. Now I'd like to hear from you. Write this sentence in the comments below. I am programming my mind for success. When you write it, you are not just leaving a comment. You are making a commitment to yourself that from this moment forward, you will begin thinking like the person you are becoming. And that decision, repeated every day, can transform your entire future.